never thought I could walk for so long.
I make pieces by hand. I design them and I fabricate them. I work with silver and gold, diamonds and gemstones, and tonight we're having a trunk show at MVM Miami in Wynwood. In May, about 6 months ago, I launched my own brand. I manufacture the pieces here very locally in Miami. Most of them are made completely by me by hand. Occasionally I outsource and get help from people that I trust very much that work in the same building as my studio, and they are also jewelers. I'm hyper obsessed with gemstones, the facets, and the way light is transferred through the stone. All the stones are genuine, nothing is lab created or heat treated. Gemstones I purchase from local vendors. There's a jewelry trade show here a few times a year, and I tend to purchase bulk quantity during that time. I use sterling silver or 14 karat gold. All my sterling silver is coated in rhodium, which allows it to remain completely untarnished. As far as my metal goes, it's all ethically sourced metal. I think my mother told me when I was like 5 years old, I was already using beads and thread. I've always been like just sort of obsessed with making jewelry. And I realized this was really my passion, and it was something that I was driven to do. And so I found the right school and I studied it, I graduated, and I had the wonderful opportunities to work for companies internationally known like John Hardy in Bali, Indonesia, and Lorenz Baumer, who's the fine jeweler for Louis Vuitton in Paris, in Place Vendôme. Almost always, my first inspiration comes from the gemstone itself. So you'll see that a lot of the pieces are actually non-traditionally set into the ring or into the necklace. It's the stone, I put them in reverse so that light transfers through much more. I set the stones on top of like a mirror-like polish, so there's like this extra reflection. To me, it's really important to not only pick a beautiful stone, because aesthetics mean a lot to me, not only focus on the color and the clarity, the cut and the quality of a stone, but also what can I do by combining several stones together? What kind of a color collage can I create, a sort of color landscape that I can make a beautiful just piece of artwork, really. I look to the older established brands such as Bulgari, Cartier, Louis Vuitton, Van Cleef & Arpels, Dior. I'm very into the French Place Vendôme and the traditional artisan craft behind making a piece from scratch, and the amount of love and work that goes into a piece that makes it so special. So these, for example, are, like I was explaining earlier, it's really important to me to explore the idea of light transferring through gemstones, and as you can see, these gemstones are actually set in reverse on a mirror base. So it's like taking white gold and polishing it so high it becomes an actual mirror. And what happens is that when you set the stone in reverse on top of that mirror, all the light that comes in from your surrounding, all the light from the light bulbs, to the sunshine through the windows, it just completely reflects and shoots out in a million different directions, and you get this beautiful glowing piece of jewelry. The piece becomes very bright. So you can see here how the light is entering, and as I move it around, it just reflects and flickers around because there's actually no open space in the back. It's completely closed, whereas most jewelers would leave that open to save on material and allow light to transfer through. I like to capture the light and sort of reflect it back out. One of my signature collections is actually the mirror collection, and this collection is very similar to the last one that I showed you, the amulet, which has the stones in reverse on a mirror. This is actually the mirror without the stones. So you can see that I'm actually wearing the necklace and the earrings, and it's basically just a mirrored footprint of where I would have placed the stones. And so I'm trying to sort of play with the idea of there is no stone there, but the footprint of the stone is still there, and it's a mirror, and it's catching light, and it's flat, and it's just, I'm tapping to a different dynamic of the piece itself. So this collection here, the mirror collection, has done very well, actually. It's probably the best-selling one. The collection that I wanted to play with color the most is the amulet collection. This collection really, this is really into the finer jewelry. And so in this collection you'll see I play with very large gemstones. Most of them are traditionally set, where I'll have a few in reverse set. To play on color, I mix materials, pearl with rose gold and amethyst, or diamonds with all multicolored sapphires and topaz, and Also important in this collection, I really wanted to explore the continuous line and the flow. And you'll notice on some of these pieces, it's actually one continuous line that doesn't ever stop. And there's a lot of open spaces. So you can see it's like a band that goes around, twists, and keeps going and ends like that. You can see, like on this ring, for example, that it's a line that twists and follows all the way around to the tip of the amethyst. So for me, it was really fun to play with that. I mean, all these models were made completely by hand, by me, and I wanted to explore, you know, how far could I push a design by working on one single line, you know, and play with color and, you know, not be afraid of mixing all these funky colors together, like, you know, the yellow diamond with the orange sapphire and the red sapphire with the hot pink and the amethyst and the orange, and you know, and I also wanted to play with leaving a space open on a ring. Why does it have to be closed, you know? Questioning, you know, traditional jewelry and aesthetic. And I think, you know, most fine traditional jewelry does not have this sort of look, and I wanted to play with sort of making it a little more fun, a little more young-hearted, light-hearted, colorful and free.
Now my mind is a two-way